Peace and Black Power family. It's your Harlem educator, author, and activist, the Black Liberation Coach, Brother Agyei Tyehimba. I want to remind everyone that you can see our show at Black Liberation or Harlem Liberation School online. And the platforms that you will see these shows on would be my Facebook page, and it would be Periscope through Instagram. Thank you again for joining us at the place where we give foundational Black political education. We bring Africana studies to the hood in a way that is accessible and not over anyone's head. And we appreciate all your support. Peace.
Peace and Black Power family. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. If you cannot, please let a brother know. I want to know, is my volume okay? I'm going to pause. I want to make sure that the volume is right and exact before we continue. I have gotten no indication that there's any problem, so I shall continue. Family, I hope everyone is at peace, stress-free, but still fighting, struggling, resisting, disrupting anything and anyone that's getting in the path of righteousness, of success, of empowerment, of liberation, and of progress. Certainly, okay, someone just told me that the volume is good. I want to thank them for that. I can't see exactly who it is, but I thank them for that. Family, as a quick sort of reminder, please, family, get your copy of Leadership, Philosophy, Ethics, and Practice, written by yours truly, giving our people, you might say, a playbook, a blueprint, a handbook, if you will, about leadership and what it should look like and how it thinks and how it operates in real time in the real world. I think you will find it very interesting, particularly those of you in positions of leadership, those of you aspiring to positions of leadership, or those of you who just want to hold your existing leadership accountable, right? Very important. Somebody says all power. We can hear you, Panther Power. Yes, indeed. Shout out to the Black Panther Party, both the original formation and the we might say the new sort of representation of the Black Panther Party, the new Black Panther Party. We represent and we love and respect all of those formations fighting for us. Family, today we're going to do a mini course, if you will. We're going to be talking about something very important. I want to be very clear. When we talk about liberation and nation building, we're not just talking about growing food, having schools, stuff of that nature, the obvious stuff. A nation requires many working parts, right? The nation that many of you are sitting in right now has a post office that has to be organized and calibrated correctly. It has a Department of Motor Vehicles, right? It has a Department of the Treasury. All of these are different parts. There are thousands of different parts of this nation, family. And the same is true for our nation, the Black nation, right? So today we're talking about college because so many of us go, so many of us want to go, so many of us wish we didn't go, so many of us wish we did go. But there needs to be more conversation around things like, well, what is college designed to do? What are you going to college to get? What are you supposed to get from that experience? Right? Okay, today what we're talking about are 5 skills that you will need to succeed in college. Very important sort of conversation, family. And as you see there, we got our nice picture. We got all the beautiful Black students. They appear to be coming out in front of one of their college buildings. Looks like they're participating in commencement or graduation. They're happy, they're proud. Okay, but what got them to that point? What were the skills that got them to that point? And we're going to go through some things. Some of it is going to shock you. Guaranteed. The first thing, family, is that hold on. When we talk about, hold on one second. Okay, let's do a quick background, some just real quick statistics that you might find interesting. First of all, depending on your choice of career or your job choice, a college education might be compulsory or necessary. And when we say a college education, usually people are referring to undergraduate education or your bachelor's degree, right? So depending on what you're going for, if you're going for engineering, I can already tell you, you must have a bachelor's degree in engineering. Social work, same thing. Education, it will either be in education or in one of those specific subjects, math or history or science or what have you. And you need a master's degree. That's compulsory to be a teacher, right? To be a professor in a 4-year university, you're going to need a doctorate degree. So it depends on what it is you're going for. There is no set in stone, one size fits all sort of equation. It depends on what career you're going towards, you're trying to attain. Another thing is that a college degree is no predictor of success. You cannot say because this person didn't go to college, they're going to be a loser, or because this person did go to college, they're going to be some big entrepreneur, they're going to be doing it. No, you can't say that. However, there are some trends. There was a national study of millionaires done that surveyed 10,000 millionaires. That's a pretty big survey. And 88% of them of those that were millionaires, 88% of the millionaires that were surveyed, and that was 10,000 of them, had a college degree. So they graduated from college. So you might make a correlation. Okay. Also, 34% of U.S. citizens have a college degree. So the majority of citizens in this country do not have a college degree, and I can guarantee you that many of those people, hold on, family, many of those people are still working. Not having a college degree does not preclude these people from working, family. So I just want to be clear with that. 64% of students that drop out of college do so, guess what? Not because of lack of finances or lack of intelligence, but due to mental health issues, family. So we have to factor that in to our equation when we talk about college, dealing with this issue of mental health. Also, 60% of all jobs in the U.S. economy require some type of higher education. Now, let's talk about briefly what college requires from students. And let me say at the outset, in that red ink, lack of intelligence or talent are not the reasons that most people fail in college. Lack of organization, focus, and discipline are the main reasons that people fail in college. So let's talk about, what does a college require from students? What must you do? Well, you must meet deadlines. You must be organized, have a good system of organization for various things. You must be able to adequately communicate your needs, your questions, the places where you need help. You have to communicate that. The college is not going to know if you don't communicate certain things. You got a roommate, your freshman year, you got a roommate. This person is dirty, and they're doing things that are unethical and illegal, and they're messing up your ability to study. You got to communicate that. You can't just complain under your breath and deal with it, right? Because this affects your experience. So you have to communicate. Also, and this is the big thing that I think a lot of people may not know, college requires students to be independent and self-motivated. So, for example, when you go to college, nobody's going to hold your hand across the street. Nobody's going to call your parents when you didn't come to class. Nobody's going to call you every day or come to your dorm and wake you up so you can take a shower and go to class. Nobody's going to remind you, oh, it's time, you got to go eat now. Oh, don't forget to get some rest. Don't forget to go to the gym. They're not going to do that, family, because the presumption at the college, the undergraduate level, is you're a young adult and you're going to regulate yourself. They don't have to come behind you, running behind. The only thing they're going to run behind you for is their money. The only thing they're going to be hitting you up for is, we didn't get our payment for this semester. Where's your tuition? Your tuition is late. That's it. So the top reason that our children, and I would say most students, fail in college, family, is because they're not used to this absolute freedom. Most people that don't get up well, the parents is helping them get up. Most people that's not doing the homework, the parents is on them to do the homework, right? Most people that don't communicate what they need, the parents tell them, oh, you got to communicate that. You got to do this. I'm going to call the teacher. I'm going to call the school. Or the school, if you're a behavior problem, the school calls your house. But when you go to college, none of that happens. You're completely on your own. Now, most students, of course, having grown up in households where they're disciplined, they got curfews, they got a certain time they're supposed to go to bed. Hopefully, they have to do homework. That homework is checked and signed off on, right? All that. They're not used to that level of freedom. So now they're in a situation on this campus. There may be another city, another state, sometimes far from home. They got a campus full of good-looking students. There's a good-looking brothers and good-looking sisters. The student is new. They wide open. Wow. They're looking at the beautiful campus and the buildings, all that land. They can go to gyms. They got pools. They got shooting ranges. They got everything you could think of, right? So a lot of people get caught up. They got clubs and organizations you can join. If you like to play basketball, but you're not good enough to play on the school team, they got intramural sports where regular students that are not there on an athletic scholarship can compete against each other in things like volleyball, swimming, basketball, and what have you. So some people, family, they go to college and they forget why they're there. And you know what? I'm going to start with a person I know this applies to, me. I went to Syracuse University in the, what would that have been? The fall of 1986. And I knew what I was there to do. In my mind, I was going to go there and infiltrate this organization. I was going to get all the knowledge I could, and I was going to use it somehow, some way to come back home and help our people. I didn't have a very clear idea of how I was going to do that. I didn't have a very clear idea of what subject or major I would have, but I knew I'm going to go to these white people's institution, and I'm going to take everything that I can get that's of use and bring it back to our people somehow, some way. And I started hanging out in the Student African American Society office, family, and we talked about Malcolm and Huey P. Newton and all the Black Power. We talked about it all, civil rights movement. What was the pros and the cons of this approach versus that approach? And I lost track of time. I forgot that I went there not to be a part of the Student African American Society, but to get this information and skill set and expertise and this network of friends, right, that are experts in these different things, and that we would go back in our communities and help to liberate them. I kind of forgot that, family. I thought I was there to go to the SAS office and debate politics all day. So certainly at the end of that first semester, I got a route. Oh, by the way, nobody called me and said, sir, you got to go to class. Nobody came to my dorm room and reminded me to wake up on time. Nobody called my parents. None of that, right? Because the presumption is this is my education and that I'm going to own it and that I'm going to be self-motivated, self-reliant, and responsible. So what happened? The only communication I got from Syracuse University was at the end of that first semester. They said, yeah, we regret to inform you that because your GPA is so low that you're on academic probation. Straight up. And unless your GPA gets to this level by next semester, you will be kicked out of university. Boom. That was my lesson. That was my spanking. That was my wake up call. You feel me? That's the first correspondence I got from him. The whole semester was at the end of the semester. So, in other words, they weren't necessarily interested in me going or not. I have to pay them regardless if I go or not. Education becomes kind of a business to some degree at the college level. So they're gonna get their money, your loan money, whatever they getting it, right? Whether you do well or not, they're getting their money. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, they're gonna kick you out and replace you with somebody else. And the cycle continues. In my case, fortunately, I had a support system that got me back on track, and I'm not somebody that likes to fail. So my internal thing started clicking like, yo, I am not getting kicked out of no school. They bugging. And I got on my game and did what I had to do. But I had to learn that. I wasn't accustomed to that level of complete freedom. And I'm going to tell you, those parents watching this, if you have not gone to college and you have children and you're very big on them going to college, it's very important. I hope you got some of them that watching with you. It's very important you tell them, and they see this part, they hear that it's the freedom that's going to kill them. The freedom kills people, family. They don't know what to do with all that time with nobody hollering at them what they need to be doing. So if you're not the type that's highly disciplined, you're in trouble. If you're not the type that knows how to organize your time, you're in trouble. All right. Okay. So let's move on. We talked about some of the basic stats. We talked about what college requires from students. We clarified the myth that you got to be the smartest person in the universe to do well in college. That is not true. So let's get to the nitty gritty. The top 5 skills needed to succeed in college. This is going to probably surprise you. Time management. Time management is probably the number one skill that you need to succeed in college. What do I mean? Let's break it down. You got 24 hours in a day. You take that 24 hours. You say, how many hours do I need to sleep? They say 8. So you subtract 8. You take what you got left. I think that's 16. Yep, 16 hours left. So you say, oh, in a day, I'd like to do an hour of exercise. So you got 15 hours left. You say getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner and washing up all together would take 2 hours, right? So you see how we're going down? You got 13 hours. You still got 13 hours left in a day. You don't account for your eating, your washing, your getting dressed, and everything and everything else. Your rest also. Now it's your classes, right? At the most, you're gonna have what? 3 classes in a day on a given day, and you won't have 3 classes every day. Some days you may have 2, some days you may have 3, right? So a person that understands that's good at time management, and there were students at Syracuse that were good at that. And I wasn't, but there was something that was really good. You'd be like, where you go? Oh, I gotta go to, let's go play some pool in it. No, they'd be like, nah, I gotta, they look at their watch. They'd be like, nah, today's Tuesday. I got a class in 2 hours. I give myself an hour to study. So this student would study for an hour before every class. Now that's serious. To refresh themselves right before the class. Very serious. Their routine, right? So that's the time management, making sure that you allot the amount of time for each particular aspect of your journey as a student. Number 2, skill needed in college, prioritizing things. You may know people right now, students, adults, whoever, that are very bad at prioritizing. Like, okay, so you want to go to the amusement park? Yeah, I like to go too. Is that our priority? Shouldn't be, but for some people, that is. Now, how do you know what your priorities are? The things that you spend the most time doing, the things that you spend the most time thinking about, the things you spend the most time talking about, the things you spend the most money on, guess what? Whether you acknowledge it or not, those are your priorities. Now, in college, they are expecting you as a student to be able to prioritize. What types of tasks might you have that need that you need to prioritize? Well, you might want to have some recreation. You might want to get exercise in. You might want to learn more about the city, be more acquainted with the city that your college is located in. You might want to join an organization, do some extracurricular stuff, join a club, an organization, an intramural basketball team, or what have you, right? So you have to prioritize all that. You might want to go to some of the fraternity parties, the sorority parties. You might want to go have a party every now and then, right? You have to put that in. Now, what does priority mean? It means that you ask yourself, you rank everything. Everything you like to do, you put it on a paper and you give it a number. What's the most important thing? You put a 1 next to it. What's the least important thing? Depending on how many things you got, you put the largest that number next to it. And then you go down from there. What's the second most important? What's the third most important? What's the fourth? And once you do that, you know that number one thing you give your most energy and your time to, and the thing that's the last in your priority list gets the least amount of time because it's the least what? Important. You'll be surprised, family, how many highly intelligent people spell well, write well, speak well. They know all types of trivia. They can do all these things intellectually, but they suck at prioritizing things. So they do things that really should be number 5 on their list. They make it number 2 on their list. They mix priorities up. And so what happens when you do this? When you do things that are not important and you put them to a level of importance, what happens? The things that really are important don't get done. And if you have that habit for a whole semester in college, you can probably kind of see where I'm going. If going to class isn't a priority for you, but let's say hanging out in the yard and kicking it with the girls, you're gonna spend your time with the girls, impressing them, doing whatever you're doing there, and you're not gonna be in class getting that information you need for those exams and to do those papers and projects. And you're ultimately probably gonna fail. So prioritizing is a skill. Time management is a skill. No one comes out at birth knowing how to do any of that. It has nothing to do with your genetic makeup, your ethnicity, or your race, or your parents. And if they went to college, it has nothing to do with that. It's a skill. What does this mean? It's a good news. It means it can be learned. So if you listen to me and you say, damn, I suck at time management. And you say, damn, I'm terrible at prioritizing tasks. It's okay, because it's a skill. You can learn it just like you can learn how to write better. You can learn how to speak and spell, and it's a skill. Shoot a gun. These are skills that can be learned, taught, and learned. And that's the empowering part of this message. Please don't be intimidated by anything I'm saying to you. Nothing I'm saying to you is designed to make you feel bad or make you feel like I can't do this. It's quite the contrary. I'm doing this to let you know you can absolutely attend college and you can do very well in college. By that, we mean you graduate on time. You're not there for 8 years. You're supposed to be there for 4, right? You can improve your skill set. You can have a nice GPA, grade point average, 3 point something, close to 4 or 4 itself, right? You can do all that. You just got to apply these skills I'm talking about. And you don't have to be the daggone Nobel Prize winning engineering student. You don't, family. Moving on from time management and prioritizing tasks. I want to just reiterate, time management is nothing but math. How much time am I going to give this? How much time am I going to give this? How much time am I going to give that? At what time am I doing this? And managing it actively. So you know where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, how long you're supposed to be there, how much time you're going to be at the library, which library are you going to, how much time are you assigning yourself for rest, how much time are you assigning yourself to talk on the phone, how much time are you assigning yourself to exercise, how much time are you assigning yourself to watch TV. It has to be given time. If you don't give it a time is funny. Life is funny. If you don't tame time and you don't control it, it will control you. Very simple. You know, the people's always like, oh man, I wish I had more time. Oh man. No, you don't. 24 hours is more than enough time. 24, unless you the president of a country. Okay. You the president of a Fortune 500. Okay. So 24 hours is enough time. Trust me. If that's happening, that means you're not managing your time. That's what that means. All right. So now number 3, communication. You're saying, well, why do I need communication in college? This is how it translates. I'm in college. I'm taking math. I was never good at math, but they're forcing me to take math as part of this core curriculum. So when you go to college, you don't get to just take whatever you want to take the first year, especially. They got to make sure you know how to write well, right? And you got some familiarity with science, a little bit of math. They want to make sure you're well rounded, right? Okay. So you take this math class and you are suck in this math class and you are sinking, you're drowning fast. You're sweating, you're getting scared, you're anxious, like, oh my God, I'm doing bad. But you don't tell nobody. you just keep doing bad in your class. The first week goes by, you're doing bad. The second week goes by, you're doing bad. The third week goes by, you're doing bad. Now, here's the problem. In college, they give you time. They know that people may be in a class that they're ill-suited for. So they'll give you a chance to say, I want to drop this class. I want to do something else, a different math class. I want to drop chemistry. I think I want to do earth science. But they give you a time limit, family. You don't get to do things whenever you choose. So if you're one of those people, I'm just going to do it when I do it. You're going, college is going to teach you a lesson. It's going to teach you, no. Sometimes you have to do things in a time frame that is not of your choosing. So they may give you 3 weeks to try the class out, and you say, man, I'm sucking at this class. I hate the class. I hate the teacher. I can't understand what they're saying. There's too many people. I want to drop the class. They give you time to drop the class at no penalty. But if you don't do it in that time frame, you get penalized. You got to keep the class. So now what happens? You're more likely to fail and get an F for your GPA, which is going to send your GPA down. Secondly, by communication, you realize I'm going to keep this class. I'm going to push through this. I can't quit everything in life because it's uncomfortable. I'm going to teach myself. That's great, man. I salute that. But you still suck in the class. What do? You communicate. You find out, where can I get a tutor? Where can I get help? Somebody that knows this and knows how to explain it so I get it. College is full of that. They have peer tutors. They have tutors that are fellow college students who are excellent in this thing, and they get paid a little something from the school, and they're there to teach you, and you set up a schedule. But guess what? If you don't communicate and you just fail silently, you fail silently. The university, you can't blame the university. They were like, well, we got 20,000 students. We didn't know who's failing. That's on you. That's for you to do. So you have to communicate you have to represent for yourself, advocate for yourself in college. Like I said, you got a dorm mate. They're nasty. They stink. They're doing stuff illegal. They bringing 100 people in the dorm. You can't get no sleep and study. You don't just take that. You first go to them and say, yo, we got to. They don't want to do that. You take that up with the university. Take that with your dorm. Tell them, listen. Tell the person that's the resident advisor, the older student who's in charge of regulating. Tell them, look, this person, this has to go. This has to change. University will respond to that because the university, at the end of the day, doesn't want a whole lot of people failing out. It doesn't look good for them. Right? Communicate. You can't be one of these people that you quiet about everything. And if you're like that, you have to change that in college. You have to be somebody that's going to speak and advocate for yourself. There's another one. You got to have the skill of focus and concentration. What does this mean? You know what that means. But why is that important? Well, let's see. You have most people are going to take 4 courses that are 3 credits, 12 credit semesters usually. We got 4 different subjects, 4 different professors, 4 different syllabi or kind of descriptions of the course, the classes, the dates you meet, where you meet, the time you meet, where it's located, where the professor's office is, all that stuff is in the syllabus. Got 4 different projects, sets of homework assignments, papers. It's kind of easy to get lost in the shuffle with that, right? Okay. So you have to be able, for one, when you're in your African American Studies course, and I really hope that all Black people are taking an African American Studies course at least each semester. But when you're in that course, you can't be thinking about Twan, Shay Shay, Nook Nook, none of them. You can't be thinking, I know she fine, brother. I know. She curvy, she pretty, and she just has the prettiest smile, you know. And you just can't, you can't get out your mind. You know what? You better get out your mind during that hour and a half you in your class, right? You better get out your mind. You better have that class on your mind. And that's it. Daydreaming ain't gonna be college is not a good place for daydreams. You have to stay focused on the task, and we're just talking about on the task at hand. If you're in the gym, you don't have to think about your black studies course. Think about your curls. But we're saying when you in class, it's about class. It's not about, I gotta go to the mall. I gotta do this. No, cut all that off. Put all that on the back burner. Do what's right in front of you. Stay focused. Right? The teachers talking, you may not be used to this. In your high school, they may not have had a lot of lecture type of classes. They may have used PowerPoints. What if this teacher's the type that's old school and they like to just talk? They're talking like me. Talking for a whole hour. And you're supposed to write notes. They don't have no PowerPoint. They don't give you no sheet. So if you think about 18 different things, you're talking at this one, you're looking at the letter you got and you worrying about your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're going to be lost. You're missing all of that. Because that's happening in real time, right? So the ability to block everything out and everyone and to focus and concentrate in one place in one space and time is one of the top 5 skills you will need to succeed, right? I didn't say that you had to be the smartest person in the world yet, did I? Nope, nothing to do with that. Notice these things are skills and habits that anyone can have. Anyone could have. I don't care if you never had none of your family members ever went to college, never even saw college. I don't care. I don't care. Well, I'm a female. I don't care if you're male, female, what you are, your sexuality, your complexion, none of that. Everyone can learn how to manage their time. Everyone can learn how to prioritize. I got 12 things to do. I'm going to put that in order. What's most important, what's least important, so that you make sure all the important things get done. So if you don't get to 10, 11, 12, you're like, no problem. No problem. I can do that tomorrow. Right? Everybody can learn to speak up for themselves. They can learn the people they need to call if they got problems in their dormitory. They can learn the number to call if they got problems with their loan or their money, the bursar's office. You can learn all those things. You can actually learn how to focus and concentrate. If it were up to me, and it is not, but if it was up to me, I would have in that core curriculum that the classes that every freshman got to take, you would learn meditation. Every freshman would learn meditation. Because 2 things meditation will do is train you, and it's an exercise that you do it. The more you do it, the better you get. This ain't just talk. Some things you can't just talk your way out of. You have to do things like exercises that make you better in it. And the more you do it, the better you get. Meditation will teach you to focus and block everything and everyone out. Some meditations you sit completely still and you don't move. Your nose is itching, your underarm itching, you got a back itch, you don't move at all. And you keep messing up because you're not used to that. So you keep messing up. Then you start over and you do this over time and you're going to get good. Stuff going on all around you, you sitting perfectly still. Stuff going on around you, you're not hearing it. You're focused in on these pictures or these affirmations or this music. Your eyes may be closed, whatever. And it teaches you also to relax. If it's up to me, every college student would learn to meditate and would meditate. And then the last skill. And I know some of these are shocking. You're like, he didn't say nothing about being a genius yet. What's up with this dude? Everybody knows you got to be real smart. Listen, George Bush Jr. had a college degree. I mean, he had a C average and everything, and he was involved in all types of other things. He wasn't the brightest bulb. Y'all know this. Y'all know plenty of people, Dan Quayle, a bunch of people had college degrees. They weren't necessarily very bright, but there's certain things you got to do. Last one I have here, you have to have the skill of honestly self-assessing, and connected to that, making good decisions. Can't get around that. What do we mean? Honest self-assessment. The person that's 300 pounds, when they walk upstairs, they're breathing really heavy. They got to stop continually. But they're telling people, oh, I'm in good, yeah, I'm in good shape. They try to get them to, no, I don't need to go to the gym. I'm in good shape. No, you're not being honest and assessing yourself. It doesn't mean that you're bad because you got a lot of weight on you. It's not talking about you as a person. It's saying for your health, if you say that you're in good shape, you should actually be in good shape. Why? Because if you're not, you want to be able to address it. But if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm good, what's going to happen? Your health is going to wane. And you got people around you that's doing stuff, jogging and inviting you. You say, oh, no, I'm good. You don't see me? Shit. Look at this belly. What's wrong with you? See? So we gotta be honest. What does this mean for a college student? A college student realizes, yo, I'm getting like 3 hours of sleep every night. I'm falling asleep in my classes, man. I'm actually the butt of jokes in class. People are like, oh, this dude's always asleep. Like, look, snoring. I have to be honest enough with myself to say, Agyei, where am I falling short? Agyei, you're not getting enough sleep. You're falling asleep in classes. You're going to meetings. You're falling asleep. You're not retaining information. Your memory is shady because you need sleep for these things. You're not alert, right? Your work is sloppy, piss poor performance in your work. So you got to be honest enough to say, man, Agyei, you're doing a terrible job of getting rest. So that means what? You have to get rest. Now you may have to if you're an insomniac, you may have to do research to figure out why am I not going to sleep. It may not always be easy, but I'm saying you have to assess yourself honestly. This is not the time to lie to yourself because it's going to hurt who? Yourself. If you're looking at stuff and you're reading books and the stuff is looking backwards and upside down and you're like, yo, I can't understand. Don't keep that to yourself. Go to somebody in your school. If I say, I'm having problems reading, it's weird. It's like the letters are upside. And they're gonna say, oh, they're gonna give you a test, and they may say, you know what, you're dyslexic, young man. It's okay. A lot of brilliant people are dyslexic. We have tools that can help you out of that, right? If you don't have sleep, they have doctors, nurses, they got psychiatrists, psychologists, they got people, counselors to help you. They have people to help you. You may say, man, I'm drinking too much coffee because I drank the coffee because I don't get no sleep. And instead of getting no sleep, I just drink more coffee. So now you jerk all over the place, right? So you need help. So you got to say, Dad, I didn't address the problem responsibly. I created another problem. So now you may have to say, I got to honest assessment. I got to drink less coffee. I got to get more sleep. Right? You may go to the bathroom and you look at the bowl like, man, that stuff look like beer. You may need to drink more water. I can relate to that. You may be like, I got to drink more water. That's not good. My urine is dark. That's not healthy. Right? Your poor mother and father that worked hard to get your butt up in that college. You ain't talked to them in 3 months. They've been calling you and calling you and leaving them. You ain't calling back. So self-assessment, you got to be like, I ain't call my moms, my pops. They left these long messages. My mother kind of mad. My father cursed me out. Let me call them. Let me call them to show them, 1, I'm okay. 2, I care about them and express gratitude. Let me stay in touch with my peoples back home. Freshmen are notorious for not calling their people. They get in this, they lose their mind and they don't call home. And I was one of them. So I know what I'm talking about. So you make time for that. Do honest self-assessment. And notice I have decision making after it because after you do the assessment, you got to make decisions. You got to be like, young ladies, I know he's muscular. I know. I don't see it and heard it. He's muscular and he's cute. I know. and he's from this city and you like his accent and I get it. The only problem is, are you going to get a degree in him? Is he going to get you a job? Is he going to be able to buy the house or the things you want? Probably not. So you got to give him his time, but you're not there for him. And you know what? You know how things work? The person that you so in love with in freshman year, you might look at them and be like, what was I thinking about in senior year? Things change. Those things are transient. They change very quickly. But your degree and why you're going there, that stays the same, right? So after you make the assessment of where you are, what's my strengths, what's my weaknesses, you then have to make decisions to eliminate those weaknesses, to build on those strengths. And I want you to notice, not once did we mention in any of those skills superior intelligence. I bear witness that there were people I knew that were highly intelligent, didn't finish. We came in as a cohort and they told us the first day, look to your left, look to your right. The people on the left won't be here. They told us the whole speech and they were right. They were right. Some people did not last. Some people got drug addicted. Some people didn't stay up with the work. Some people was on the phone talking to whoever back home. Some people was playing ball in the court all day. Some people was in the political office doing that, and they forgot why they were there. Number one reason people don't do well, and mental health. Let's move on. 9 questions you should ask continually, some of them. And this is going to relate to those skills we just talked about, those 5 skills. You should be able to answer these questions if you're in college. What is the day, location, and time for all of my classes? You'd be surprised people don't know that. And they, what time? And they constantly trying to find somebody in their class and say, oh, well, when do we have class? You're supposed to know that. What is the email and phone number for all of my professors? Very important. There may be times where you may have to ask for an extension for your paper or whatever. You want clarification on an assignment and you want to talk to the professor and you don't even know how to contact the professor. Then I'm going to tell you the secret to almost all these questions in a minute. Number 3, what days and times do my professors have office hours? What's office hours? It means this is the time the professor's not teaching the big class. They have to get a certain amount of office hours every week. They're in their office. The office is open. First come, first serve basis. And you can just knock on the door. They say, come in, young man. You come in, young lady, come in. And you raise a question. When you went over this geopolitical warfare, I didn't understand the concept. Could you give me a better example? Or could you tell me what I can read that can help me better understand that? And they'll sit there and they'll explain it to you. They have limited time. They can't stay with you the whole hour and a half they're in there, but they're going to help you. Also, what assignments do I need to complete in each class? By when do I need to complete them? You need to know that at any given time. And if you don't know it in memory, which you probably won't know all this in memory, you should have a reliable system of organization to find it like that. Not like those pair of socks like me or whatever you're looking for. You're like, where did I put those? And you're looking for it for 30 minutes and now you're late to class because you don't have a system of organization where you know where everything is. So not only do you need to have that, you need to have a way to get to this information. It's really quick. And, you know, we have these inventions out here really cool called smartphones that besides playing games and talking to our boyfriends and girlfriends and looking at the latest gossip, guess what? It's one of the best tools for all of this stuff I'm talking about. It's one of because you can store it right in the phone, right in your Google Calendar, right in the calendar application. You can put in all your appointments, your classes, so it's always there, right? Okay. What else? How did I say what are the most important tasks I need to complete? And in what order should I complete them? That's that prioritization. You have to do that consistently in college. How do I arrange for a tutor if I need help in a class? Because you might need help in a class and you don't want to drop the class, you want to take it, but you're falling behind. You don't want to get too far behind. So you need to know what's the process, what's the phone number, who's in charge, right? They're not going to tell you all that. They're going to assume that you're not going to, go to college and spend all that money just to fail passively. You're going to speak up for yourself. So this is where we talk about that communication. How do I make this is very important. This now speaks to the balance, the time management, and the balance. How do I make time for exercise, rest, academics, and socializing? See, if you're doing this right, if you're working this right, you can have time for the gym, time for your lady, your boys, your girlfriend, your boyfriends. You can have time for your classes, obviously. Time, and remember, it's not just the class time. You got to study too. So you're supposed to go to class, but you got to study, right? In addition to going to class. So you can make time for all of that. You could go to party. They got parties in college. They got all types of stuff you can do that can be distractions, or they can be nice complements to a balanced schedule, right? Because you don't want to work hard and that's all you do. You want to have some fun. This is one of the best places to have fun. Everything is there for you. Of course, remember, a lot of illicit, illegal, and immoral things are there for you as well. So you're going to have to be able to make good what? Decisions for yourself, because mama ain't there talking about put that weed down. And your pops say, put that bottle down. You should be drinking that. They're not there for you. So if that was your crutch, people telling you how to move, you're gonna have to now be your own sort of motivator. You're gonna have to make these decisions for yourself. So for the parents watching this, also remember, it's very important you do everything in your power to help prepare them to be self-motivated, self-reliant, sentient, conscious of themselves as a being and what they want, and moving in a way to advocate the best for themselves. With the understanding that you won't always be there. Either physically, we will die in that sense, but also you won't be there on the college campus. They don't let the parents come and sit in all the classes and go around with the kids. So you're preparing them for life, right? Okay. This self-assessment. What are my strengths and what are my challenges? And how will I resolve my challenges? Right? So look, my challenge, my first semester, was that I was in love with Malcolm and political struggle and black studies and all this stuff. Right. So when I got there, I was like completely in all the protests, all the debates, all that stuff. I was in the SAS office, which was our black student union. I could be there for hours and I could forget to eat. That was and there was a bunch of us like that. Right, until I got that letter I told y'all about. Like, yo, we're gonna kick you out of school next semester. Your grades don't come up. You're on academic probation. And it was one heck of a wake-up call. So I had to resolve that challenge. What did I have to do? I had to now say, I have to give that less time. Actively give it less time. But check this out. Once I got a good, solid schedule that worked for me, I was actually able to spend almost some of the same time there, because now I made sure that I did all the other stuff I had to do. So now being in the office wasn't detracting from, right, the other stuff I had to do. All right. So that's very important. Self-assessment. And you're going to also notice that the same things, the questions I'm raising here, the skills I raise are not just good for college. They're good for everything. If you can manage your time right where you are right now, if you can assess where am I strong, where am I weak, and not lie to yourself, tell the truth to yourself, so you can really be your best self. It's the same stuff that you do here. It's gonna be good in college, be good at your church, good at the temple, good at your business, good in your organization, good in your relationship, good in everything. It's all connected, right? All right. And then this is important because I told you that roughly 65% of people that drop out of college do so because of mental health issues. Wow. What healthy methods will I use to relieve stress? Nobody told me that. Nobody had me ask that, but I found that I had to ask it. You have to ask yourself, when all this stuff is due and I'm feeling it, I'm drinking coffee and I'm not getting sleep, and you pulling these all-nighters, you staying up in college, you may stay up 2 days, 3 nights in a row to get this stuff done in the study. You may be pledging a frat or a sorority, you're doing a bunch of stuff, and now you're anxious and you don't want to fail and you got time pressures. What do you do? What's your method going to be to help you come down and relax for your physical and mental health so you don't go crazy? All college students can bear witness, or they didn't go to, or they're lying. Anybody that went to college is going to tell you, oh man, there was plenty of times I was stressed. That's a fact. That's part of it. But there's ways that you can come up, healthy ways that you can come up with to deal with that stress, right? All right. So, family, I hope that you found this interesting. I see that we got a few comments, and I'm going to sign off. Our organization comment is the new Black Panther Party based in Newark, New Jersey. Newark in the building. Peace to Newark. That's what's up. We got Agyei, brother Agyei Tyehimba. He says, great info, my brother. Thank you. We got my queen bee in the building. Brenda Hilaire says, very useful information. Very good, family. Please let this not be something that you just watching. Please share this with the young ones. Share it with anybody. Brother Donnie in the building. Donnie, peace, brother. Thanks for coming to the book signing, man. It was good seeing you, brother. Good seeing you, man. Good people's right there. Brother Donnie Fletcher in the building. Please share this with your little cousins, your nieces and nephews, your children. And if you're somebody, family, it's never too late. What is my sister's name? If I could just, I got so much going on in my head. It's a sister, a brilliant sister from the 19th century. I cannot remember her name, but she got her doctorate degree at close to 65 years of age. Family, don't tell me about your age. You can do it. And I'm telling you, these are skills, which means what? You can learn them. That's empowering. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your family background is. You can learn these things and you can do well in them. All of us can do well in college. You don't have to be some genius or mad scientist to do well. So I hope you got the point, family. Please spread the message. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a beautiful weekend. Peace and Black power. Don't forget to watch our video that I have posted on my page about upcoming events from Harlem Liberation School. And family, you have a blessed weekend. Peace.